had never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, howdy, folks. How are you? I hope you're having a very, very good kind of Thursday. I walked a few miles, not a mile, a few miles yesterday for a variety of reasons. But at the end of the day, I had a few issues as well, and henceforth no show last night. Wound up having a very good sleep, and the cramp in my leg has gone away. Thank you for all and sundry. What an interesting time it is in Canberra in the last week of the sitting year for them. Of course, it's only the middle of the financial year. There are still so many more billions of dollars to be wasted. And we've seen today yet another example of, and I think we'll be seeing again right about now, another example of just how little we the people and our feelings are taken into account by those who claim to represent us in that place. Now, I don't doubt, and I have seen some good ones in the last few days acting on our behalf, trying to put forward things on our behalf. When I say our, I mean we the people. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, well, I know the reason. I think it's because the government doesn't want to talk about it, and it's got the Greens in its pocket, and they're pretty much able to shut down any conversation they want when they want. It's disappointing. It's also disappointing to see some of the actions, although necessary, I guess, some of the actions of those that we have duly elected to this place. And I've got to admit, at times, there are senators, and I suspect probably members in the other house, acting like they are school children. And we've seen examples of it this week. I don't necessarily include Pauline in that, but Lydia Thorpe this week. My word. But Lydia Thorpe can be a bit like that many weeks. I watched the Greens this morning. I was in the Senate this morning for a couple of hours with Wade. And I watched the Greens, Senator Hanson Young, no sign of Senator Lambie, even though she had a couple of motions on. And in fact, Senator Babbitt wasn't around either. In fact, quite a few of them were missing on the final day of school for the year. So made it that little bit harder, I guess, if they were hoping to gain votes to stop the ramrodding through of legislation that will be to the greatest detriment of every Australian going forward. It will enable unlimited control, practically, of our health system. And if there is a bird that catches a cold somewhere on the other side of the world, an organisation that isn't based here in Australia, probably has maybe one Australian on it if you're lucky, will get to decide what happens to all the birds in Australia. Now, you've heard Wade, if you've been listening to him on Billboard Battalion, explain what's happened in Canada, and I haven't spoken about it, but it's probably remiss of me not to, about the Canadian ostrich massacre. Now, some of those birds did get bird flu, and this is some time ago. I want to say almost 12 months ago. Now, some of those birds died. The rest of the birds did not die. Therefore, they are immune. They've contracted or been able to build a natural immunity to bird flu, which was great for those birds because it meant they were great until they got herded into one yard and shot, because there's no immunity to that we figured out yet, unless you're wearing Kevlar and a helmet. But these birds would have been able, through their blood, been able to provide the antibodies so that a genuine vaccine for bird flu could have been created rapidly by Big Pharma, or whoever makes it for animals, suggesting Big Pharma make all the drugs for everybody. And voila, no more bird flu in the world. But oh no, they can't have that. They need bird flu to engineer what comes next for us, the pandemic Mark II. And have no doubt, I think there's that and a lot more coming. And I think the market says the same. I've been following Ainsley on and off today. If you have, you'll know that silver has gone up again in the last couple of days. It hasn't shot up remarkably, but just this week alone, it's gone up, I think. Let me just have a bit of a look at what it is right now. Oh, okay. Well, it's had a little kick this afternoon. It's at $82.08 right now. So when I started watching it earlier today, it was just over 79. So let's call that a $3 increase in maybe the last 2.5 to 3 hours. Now, I did tell you that silver was going to bounce back, and I suspect that this could be one of those bounces. Could it be the bounce? Who knows? But a bounce. Gold's not doing too badly either. 63.74 and 15 cents. So I think that's down a little bit on what we said the other night. But do not worry, gold, silver, all working in the right directions. And Ainsley Bullion are the people to go and talk to if you need some. If you would like some, they are more than happy and able to help. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as the good little machine there says. You can really help us out by doing that. The algorithm really does need the help. So while I've been to Parliament a couple of times this week, and I've been able to turn up at times where nothing's really happened, and not been there when Pauline walks in her burqa, for instance, and a few other things. I wasn't there today when Barnaby came out. Gritted teeth, explaining to the media that he was getting out of bed from the Nationals. He's going to be an independent. He's decided that at this stage of the game, he's not prepared at least to throw his hat completely in the ring with One Nation, although he did mention in an interview, it wasn't an interview, it was in his statement, if you like, out the back of Parliament House. We're not able to get to those. He said that the people of New England who elected him are now more One Nation supporters than they are National supporters anyway, which I think is a pretty fair comment, given the National Party has deserted the people of the country, the people that they were meant to be there to serve, and they've deserted it for the big money of the Liberal Party and a coalition and a seat at the table, rather, amongst other perks, I'm sure, that have come their way. But the National Farmers Federation are also missing in action, I suppose is the best way to say that. Now, Wade's plan was for today or tomorrow, I think, to go down to the National Farmers Federation headquarters and try and get a meeting with the new president, a guy named Hamish. Now, Hamish has been dodging Wade's calls, has been dodging Wade's emails, which indicates he's probably going to try and dodge Wade. The weird thing about this National Farmers Federation is that should a farmer from this nation want to go to their office, you can't get through the front door. There's this bloody huge great office, no receptionist. Or they're hiding out the back somewhere and they have a security camera and they decide who they're going to let in and who they're not. But I don't know, if you're only entry by appointment, you'd want to be answering your emails or your phones, wouldn't you? So those people know they have an appointment. Or is it just such beyond the National Farmers Federation minions to send an email that says, look, we're very sorry, Hamish doesn't want to speak to you, or we're very sorry, Hamish has got a very full schedule and we can't fit you in, or any of the myriad other excuses that the National Farmers Federation will no doubt have come up with, and I'm sure some of them will be creative. It can't go on forever, though. They can't continue to hide. And right now, the VNI West teams are scouring central Western Victoria, if that's the way to put it, the Wimmera Mallee area, trying to get onto farmers' land who do not want them on it, who do not concede that the government has the rights to allow these people on the land. And it's great to see so many of them coming to the aid of the farmers' properties when this happens. In the Wallaroo Gree area, there is a really staunch mob around there, and I would love to come and see you next week, but I haven't heard much from the group. I've reached out to it on Facebook and a few other things, so I imagine you're all busy out doing what you do at this time of the year, which is stripping, not the kind that gets $5 in your gutter, but the kind that fills up your wheat bags and other bags, so to speak. So I imagine there is a network that is in place, but it's not really able to tell me much either, because these inspectors, I don't think they give a great deal of notice. Inspectors is the wrong word. They're VNI West surveyors, for the want of a better term. And they're trying to get onto the property, in case you're unaware. I think it is for the surveying of the transmission lines from the wind towers that aren't connected yet, haven't been for a while. So a lot of those farmers aren't being paid the wind tower stuff. They're getting a fee, I suppose, but they don't want their land dug up and ruined and large sections of it made unfarmable, because once access roads go in and all that kind of thing, the farmers aren't able to farm around those sorts of things. So it makes life very, very difficult, and it's being forced upon them. So if you are in Victoria and you can go along and support people in that area, which, if I am right, I might be wrong, but if I'm right, it's sort of between St Arnaud and Marnoo, sort of north and south, I think, of the, I don't know what highway it is that goes across there, but that's basically the main road that comes across from Bendigo to Horsham. And Wallaroo and Gree, you're not going to find too much of a town centre for either of those. They're just regions, if you like. But just know that everybody with the voice of freedom is with you, folks. We think about you. We have been doing a lot of talking and thinking, trying to work with you this week. It's just unfortunate. Obviously, the company doesn't telegraph their punches, and we have a very limited amount of money to get back to Queensland, and to drive around Victoria and around the Wimmera looking for a dirt road that a VNI West truck might be on is just a bit too expensive for us to muster without a great deal of help from you folks. And as yet, we haven't received that. So at this stage, I think I'll be heading off tomorrow and making my way back north again. There might be a couple of stops involved, and I will bring you up to date with those. Certainly tomorrow, while I'm driving, keep an eye out on the phone or on the main VOF channel, and you will get a bit of an idea of what's going on. Some decisions will be made later tonight. I am catching up with Wade after this show, and his team, the lovely Belinda, whose arm is swollen still, but seems to be moving down her forearm. She doesn't seem to be too concerned about it anymore. Still does have a bit of pain in it. She's a tough lady. God love her. So keep your prayers in mind for her. While I was at Parliament House, in fact, quite surprisingly, as I walked in the main front door of Parliament House, there were a number of things going on there today. There was, I think, that rock star bloke that is married to or going out with or hanging out of Abby Chatfield. I think he was standing out in the forecourt having a cigarette. It might not have been him. It was some other thespian type. But, and I don't take enough notice of them to really recognise them in public anyway, so I could be wrong. It was somebody who looked similar to him. And there was a lot of music and singing. There were people wearing smocks and what looked to be like hospital attire, surgical scrubs, only in brightly coloured sort of things. I think they may have been nurses or. Yeah, this was the problem with their branding. I still don't know, and some of them sat at a table beside us. I heard a group singing. Still don't know what it was about. So yeah, your uniforms look very colourful, but got no idea what it was about. There was also a thing happening in the Great Hall. I was looking forward to going into the Great Hall. In fact, got told that I could go into the Great Hall if I wanted to, but found that it was full of Sikhs. And there was a very big Sikh gathering going on in the Great Hall. And I don't know, a lot of people lined up to go and get I don't know. There were a lot of kids floating around. The place was absolutely full of Sikh Indians today. So something special happened in the Great Hall there. I was wondering, I went in there to have a look to see whether or not we might be able to get a national game of indoor cricket going there on Australia Day. Put up some nets. I guess it'd be between Australia and India. Just saying. Not a bad thing to do. Bloody good thing to do, I reckon. There was not the only thing going on at Parliament House today. As I was walking to Parliament House, there was... Oh, no, there wasn't that. That was a bloke in Melbourne the other day. Beg your pardon. I'll get back to him. He's a shitter of a whole different kind. There was a bunch of people out the front of Parliament House today. Now, what I found interesting here was that this was all set up for a background for Parliament House. Behind them, Parliament House, if you like, is on our left. There is a road on our left there, and then... the forecourt area of Parliament House. Now, all of these people are Chinese, or appear to be Chinese, and there is obviously a significant amount of flaggage going on there. Now, I haven't done the check yet to find out exactly what all those flags represent, but obviously there's an Aussie one stuck down the end, so rah-rah, good on us. There was 250 people there, I guess. Now, I just happened to... I parked my car outside Parliament House, not underneath it, when I went in today because I couldn't get a park underneath. So I had to go down and move it or put more money in the meter, so to speak. So when I went in, that wasn't there. There was no sign of it at all when I came back out. In fact, I don't know if I downloaded the photos of what was there. Let me just see. Well, there were what was there was a little bit disturbing. It was once again a bunch of, I don't think these were Sikh Indians though, but it was a bunch of Indians who were sitting all over, and I'll get a photo of it when I dig it up. It must be on my phone. I emailed it to myself, I think. They're sitting all over a monument that's sitting there in the middle of the lawn, lying all over it, draped all over it, drinking their teas or coffees or whatever it was. And I just thought that showed a bit of disrespect. So I don't know whether that's just me being a bit funny, but to me, it just, if I went up to the War Memorial and saw them doing the same thing on one of the, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, for instance, if I saw them sitting there laying across parts of that, I probably wouldn't be too happy. And I imagine many Vietnam veterans wouldn't be either. Although many Vietnam veterans' sons are now my age, and we're probably looking to our sons to do more about it than we're able to. Just saying. It's a bitch getting old, and we are definitely getting older. Some of the things that I did wind up seeing today were reasonably interesting, including the, I guess I can't call it fake because it's real, but here is the Magna Carta that they have on display just outside the Senate entry, if you like. They explain here that the Magna Carta is a celebrated document, is a founding document of the development of the constitutional and parliamentary government system. Magna Carta is the Charter of Liberties first granted in June 1215 by King John of England as a treaty to end a baron-led revolt. From its articles emerged the concept that nobody, not even the king, is above the rule of law. Its principles have been incorporated into the common law of many nations and embodied in documents like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Australia's Constitution. Then they tell you about this document. In 1952, Bob Menzies announced the Australian government had purchased a 1297 version and inspectus issue of the Magna Carta for the nation. The document was first displayed in Australia in 1961. It is one of only 4 known surviving copies of the 1297 Charter and one of only 2 held outside the United Kingdom. The document is a single sheet of sheepskin parchment inscribed with iron gall ink. King Edward I's royal seal is attached by red and green braided silk cords, and that's what you can see down there hanging in the bottom of that. We could have a long conversation about that document tonight, but I don't think there's much point. I don't think there's much point. Most of you know it, so let's not bother going there. Hey, listen, I didn't even go in and say hello. So who was first in the room tonight? Tom. Very nice to have you in, and very early you were. I'm trusting you're still here, so I'll have to shoot down the bottom and say good day there. Also in the house tonight, the lovely Donna. Tony, mate, love your work. I hope Melbourne is treating you well. The lovely Deb Shippard. Now, did I see something? I think I started a comment from you somewhere, Deb, that you went molting. You're so out of the loop. You've forgotten heaps. You did get to ride on the header, though. Well, there you go. There are benefits in all of that. And what riding on the header you'd probably get to learn or relearn or re-remember, if that's the way we think about it. Tom. Oh, yeah, that fire in Hong Kong. Absolutely atrocious. So the fires burned for many hours, but do not fall down. Well, yes, there might be a bit of trickery, but from my understanding, those 3 towers, or there are 8 towers in that group, are all under redevelopment and have been now for over 18 months or so. And that means that they're all surrounded in scaffold. That scaffold is made of bamboo, and they have a kind of matting or shade cloth, if you like, that is attached to the outside of that, which presumably gives the workers some shade while they're standing on the side of the building doing whatever renovation work they are doing. Some of the video that I've seen, not in mainstream media, but some of the stuff that's been put out on Telegram and other places, shows that you might remember there was a terrible fire. I want to say it was in Dubai or Abu Dhabi a while back, and it was the cladding on the outside of the building that was really the problem. The fire may have started in a kitchen on the 3rd floor, but somehow it got out through the kitchen window and got into the cladding, which was purely decorative, I think, on the outside of this skyscraper, but it was also exceptionally flammable. And from memory, there were a number of Australian skyscrapers who had employed the same kind of decorative cladding here in Australia, and it had to be removed because of the supreme fire risk that it posed. But whether or not that cladding was on any of those buildings in Hong Kong, I don't know. Last I heard, there were 254 people still missing. There were 40 or more dead. That number has no doubt changed because it was hours ago that I heard that. If they have the fires out yet, that was also seemingly one of the biggest problems they were having, because once the fires got above a certain height, they're not reachable from the ground, regardless really how much water pressure you got. So whether or not they firebomb them with helicopters from above or whatnot, I don't know. I'll have to go and do a bit of looking around. We'll see what happens. Here's the lovely Sandy. Don't forget, folks, $2 is all you got to spend for a ticket to win, or the chance to win, $750 or a 1 gram bar of Ainsley Gold Bullion, which is going up and up and up as we speak. You can go to merch.vofhq.com and click on the link there that is Sanctuary 750. I think there's under 100 tickets left to sell in this last lottery. So please, if you can help us kick this one over the ground, I know Sandy and her team at the Donkey Sanctuary need all the help they can get, getting feed and veterinary services for the animals. So that's where we're going to send all the cash this time round. Please help us with that. How's everyone faring the weather in your part of the country? No rain, your ground is dry, and no growth at all. Well, there is a theory that, well, maybe you're putting this forward. Paddocks should have grown higher than the donkeys by now. Yeah, that would be the usual thing, but you've got dirt and the trees look like they're dead. Yeah, wow. I don't think it's the stuff they sprayed recently, Sandy. I think it's the stuff that they've been spraying constantly in small measures, taking effect over time. So it looks like it's a natural kill-off or natural die-off, when it in fact is killing the stuff that's growing in the land, and none of that's going to, regrow real fast until Mother Nature does her thing. That must be hard for people who are producing hay, particularly for the feed industry, because their business is churning over paddocks and paddocks and paddocks of different sorts of hay, everything from straw through to lucerne and sorghum and God knows whatever else, sorghum that? I don't know. Can't remember. Isn't that awful? I used to know exactly what sorghum was. Did it come in a bale? I don't think it did. Yeah, I want to say it did. Anyway, somebody will educate me on that, and I'll get to the comments shortly. Been a long time since I've had to deal with them. Bales, really, of any kind, and I don't intend on going back to picking too many of up like I did in the good old days. The BBC. What's that? Sorry, just reading. Your barley protein was 13.1, but only 12 tons off at 22 acres. Wow. So that's not a high yield. That's sad, Pete. Sorry for that, mate. You need a bit more rain. That's however things are. How's everyone faring? Oh, that's the one I had start up earlier. All right, well, forget that. Move on. I'll try and get down to the bottom. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. I can't say thank you enough for anybody who is donating or looking after us in any way, shape, or form. You can make a donation at vofhq.com, and or you can come and join us as a member, because we're going to have some very interesting membership prizes up for grabs, but it will only be for people who are members. Now, those prizes could range from the sublime to the ridiculous, but I'm sure you will be able to put them to very good use, and it will only be if you are an active member that you will be able to be involved in those prizes. And I was actually speaking to somebody today about adding another prize potentially to the list. So we're looking to have a number of contests where you will have to be interactive. And that leads me to this. This will be the phone you call. And as opposed to, I think I should get it out. Oh, it's hurt my thumb again. As opposed to my phone, which if you get a good look at that, you'll see that white stuff. Well, that's not white stuff. That's where the glass kind of was, and now it's been powdered. One of the issues that I had with the phone was with the phone yesterday. I lost the bloody thing. Thankfully found it this morning, cough, but it's been driven over by something rather heavy. So that one's just about dead anyway. So it's been a good phone. I've had it for I don't know how many years, but we got donated purely out of luck, got donated another phone to use as a call-in phone. And that's it. So unfortunately, what might happen is I swap the cards around and I may have to go to the other side, the dark side, the Samsung side, because that's the phone we've been given. Because the front side of my mobile phone, the Apple, is only slightly better than the back side of it. So anyway, complaints. Just having a scan down and seeing what your conversation's getting into, if you've got any questions. I've had the opportunity sorghum goes into silage and chop. There you go. Thanks, Wendy. Appreciate you. Education, see, always happy to learn. I've had the opportunity the last few days to wander around this place, try and meet up with various different politicians, and had absolutely no luck whatsoever. Wade has had more luck, and I don't hold that against him at all. He's put in a lot more time, a lot more boot leather, a lot more time sitting around in cafes and parliamentary members' offices waiting for someone to agree to talk to him. So he's done pretty well, and I'm hoping tonight when I catch up with him, we'll be able to have a bit of a chat ourselves, something we can record, and I'll put up tomorrow night or tomorrow and play tomorrow in tomorrow night's show. We may even run into the odd politician or two tonight. It is, after all, the end of the school night or school week for them. They'll probably hang around for a little bit tomorrow to tidy up, so to speak, but they'll be predominantly heading home for Christmas. And we expect a few of them might go out for a meal tonight, and maybe they'll bump into us. So fingers crossed. We'll see what comes of that, if it comes at all. All right, let me just see. Sunflower, was that a Samsung? Because I've been trying to set this one up so that we can have a competition line, if you like, or a call-in line. And the way that's going to work, folks, is we might start running a question of the day and a few other different bits and pieces, which I don't have the time to answer the phone, but I do have the time to record the question and put it on the phone. And all you got to do is ring it and leave your comment, and I might grab it and use it in the show that night. The idea would be we might have some fairly interesting topics of conversation to support with interviews and whatnot in those shows. And this might be something that we also run across FBN, particularly with what we're planning to do in the mornings on FBN in 2026. So watch this space. Vince isn't in here tonight. I think he's got a My Place meeting on. Either that or he's asleep. But he will be around tomorrow, I hope, tomorrow night, and we'll be able to talk maybe a little bit more on how we can fill that in. What that has been sending me sorry, Daniel's going to try. And Daniel, you haven't got my number, or you haven't rung me if you do. And I was hoping to catch up with you because I think you're in Canberra, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how you can get a hold of me. I'd love to see you, but at this stage, I'm going to leave Canberra tomorrow morning at some point. And, well, unless something truly miraculous happens, I'm probably just going to turn right and head north. But I will be only going to, well, I'll be stopping at a couple of places along the way, but I hope to make it tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure I'll make it by tomorrow night to the Donkey Sanctuary. So tomorrow night's show, I hope, all things being equal in a beautiful world, and me being able to access Sandy's Wi-Fi, we'll be doing a show from the Donkey Sanctuary, and that'll be the plan. Show you around a little bit there at the Donkey Sanctuary is the hope. Depends on how far the Wi-Fi extends. We might not be able to walk too far. But at least over the next day or two, I plan to shoot a lot of video. And yes, we'll catch up with Disco and May May and a few of the others there. It should be a bloody riot. I'm really looking forward to it. And I said, Wapda is sending more cute videos. So for those people who've had a really, really stressful day, or maybe you've had a really, really stressful week, there is nothing better for you than pup. Oh, Wapda is a bastard. There's a pile of videos he sends me. Carl Jr. this, Carl Jr. that, Carl Jr. that. He is a bastard. Daniel, you don't have phone access. Email me your address, carl@vofhq.com. And if you're free tomorrow morning sometime after 9:30, that would be the way to do it. Email me. You can't private chat me. You can't. There's a lot of things you can't do. Email me, carl@vofhq.com, and slip me your address, and I will scoot to you. Or send me your phone number if you have a landline number. You said you don't have mobile access. I know it says you don't have phone access. Okay, yeah, well, just send me an email, Daniel, and I will look at it tonight. And I've got a breakfast meeting I've got tomorrow morning, which I expect will be over and done with by 9:30, certainly 10 o'clock at the latest. I'll pop in and see you, and then I will skedaddle. I'm trying to avoid Sydney peak hour, so that might mean that I might be a bit briefer in my breakfast meeting than I'd intended. So we'll see how that can go. At any rate, it'd be good to catch up, mate. And I'm sorry because I've been here and not seen you before, and I know that pissed me off. So I've undertaken to make sure that I see you this time. Oh, geez, I don't know that I'd have done that, mate, but okay. Hang on a minute. I'm not going to put it up in the show, but let me just take a photo so that I can go back to that. Oh, there. All right. Is 9:30 good for you? I'm sorry, folks. We'll just have this little chat with us through the chat, so to speak. I guess that's how it is. You've done it before. Good on you, brother. All right. Is 9:30 all right? All right. Good. I'll see you around 9:30. That makes my heart happy. I'm really looking forward to that. So what else have I got? Really nothing to tell you about today other than it was very disappointing to see how things acted. But, you know, even walking up to Parliament House today, I think the flag flying over the top of that place is a great indication of what Australia is currently like. And I think it's under the Labor government. That, to me, is an Australian flag and an Australian people that's a bit frayed at the edges. And that is an Australian government that can't look after its Australian flag above our nation's capital. How on earth would we expect it to look after the Australian people? I understand flags do get damaged, but that flag has been damaged for a week. Not that badly. The wind in the last 2 days has really picked up, but it looks really shabby. It just looks really, really shabby, as does the Australian government to the vast majority of the Australian people. And I was speaking with a local today, a lovely lady, and while she's lived here for, I don't know, but decades, she finds it very hard to bring herself to Parliament House. And that's because of all the Masonic imagery, and she gets a feeling about it. I've got to say, I get the same feeling. There are some very good people who work in there, particularly in the protective security area. They're only security guards as you go through all that security. They have their security scanners turned up to Star Trek levels at the moment. So it picked up something in my boot. I've got a pair of cowboy boots that I was wearing today, and it picked up something somewhere in my boot that went beep, and the boots are made of leather. I've got no idea what it could be. Neither did they, but they had a really good look at my boot. So, had to take the watch off. That's because it appears, a nice diver's watch could be thrown at any of the members of Parliament while you're in the gallery. And it turns out is why you're not allowed to take anything in. You're not even allowed to take notes while you are sitting there in the gallery. If you have a backpack, then that has to be checked at a certain check-in area. You get a little plastic card with a number on it so you can find it all later. But not only does your backpack have to go into that, your wallet, your phone, anything and everything that is in your pockets goes into there. And you are not allowed to take it into the gallery. Nothing. Could not believe it. Not allowed to take notes. What are they afraid of? Are they afraid of us actually showing the behaviour of these people? Are they relying on the parliamentary media system, the ones who film everything that happens in those chambers, to not make them look like the children they sometimes act like? And I've got to admit, seeing Katie Gallagher in person is a very confronting thing. And the good Lord saved me from having to see Penny Wong. I don't know how I would have handled that. There was a lot of other pressures on my body running around that place. And when I saw Katie Gallagher, I understood why they made me take my watch off. I mean, I'd never throw the watch. It was a present given to me by one of you. And that's because he was exceptionally upset that I was wearing an Apple Watch at the time we met. He said, "Get that tracker off you. Wear something decent." So he gave me, he collects watches. He gave me one of his many watches. It was a very, very beautiful moment. And thank you very much, Paul. It very rarely comes off, but at Parliament House it must, because you might rip it off and throw it at one of the people downstairs on the floor there that you don't like. God knows they give us opportunity. I imagine that they're also geared up for those sort of sunglasses that you can take videos with as well. I thought maybe if I took a white cane in and wore those sunglasses, I might be able to get away with filming a little bit, but they apparently not. Apparently not. Don't give you any such luck. What have I found out about government and Parliament this week? I think Ian sums it up. How undignified. If there is any dignity to it, it is false, or it is pomp and circus and ceremony. I don't understand completely, I don't even begin to understand the workings of Parliament. But I was interested to see the black rod seemingly taken for a walk out of the chamber. I don't know where they take it to walk. I did suggest to Wade, when we noticed that black rod was being taken out and coming back in again a few minutes later, going out, coming back in again. All I could think of was that somebody needed to go out and polish it, but didn't seem to do anything at the time. Nobody handled it except for the staff handling black-rodded person, I'm guessing. So if anybody happens to know why they take black rod for a walk every few minutes, it doesn't seem to sit there for very long. They take it out, go for a wander, comes back in again. I was wondering if they'd just take it for a bit of a sightseeing trip around both houses, out of the Senate, into the House, and then round the House, and then back into the Senate again, where the walker has a bit of a rest, a becks and a cool lie down before he gets tagged out, as so many workers in that place do. My word. That's a whole other story. I wish I could have taken a photo of this guy that was working. I'm assuming he has something to do with Hansard. I'm assuming this because he sits at the end of the Senate table with his back to us, the gallery. He is one of a number of people who sit in front of a computer. They don't seem to type, and the screen doesn't seem to move like it's recording and transcribing everything that's being said in the House or in the Senate. But whatever they're doing, they seem to be hunched over, and they work for about 25 minutes, 20 minutes each, and then somebody comes in, they get tagged out, and it's an immediate tag out. They stand up, swap chairs, and go. I don't know, this thing, and Wade and I might get him to talk about it tonight when we have a chat. We watched this thing come out of there yesterday or the day before. We still can't quite manage to figure out which side of the coin that one wants to have its name attached to. And so until we can figure out if it's a he, she, they, there, or them, right now it's an it. Weird people walking around that place in Parliament. Also interesting to note, stuck my head into the House today, and only because the same deal there. The only thing you could throw at the legislative people, or rather the people in the House, is your own vomit. And seeing Albo nearly brought some of that up. A little bit, had to swallow it. Surrounded by lawyers. So he has his lawyers sitting at basically the end of his table, and there are a lot of them, and they are young. Somebody pointed that out to me. Oh, yes, they're all young lawyers. So that's because the old ones are too wise to work for an idiot like Albanese. They seem to agree with that. So could well be the thing. At any rate, that's been an interesting few trips into Parliament House. I have no doubt I couldn't bring myself to go and see the top of the pyramid and stand underneath that bloody flag thing. Makes my skin crawl. So I couldn't bring myself to get underneath that. So found a track around the edges, if you like, to get to where I needed to go and get out again. But it has been one of those interesting trips. I was going to go to the War Memorial. In fact, I promised myself, if for no other reason, I should have, some time to myself to go and do something, I go to the War Memorial. I looked up going to the War Memorial. Turns out it's a lot easier to go to than it was last time I was here. But the aircraft part of it is still closed. So I'm really only interested in going to see the aircraft side of it. So I haven't been to the War Memorial. There have been a couple of sadly interview opportunities that I was led to believe I might be able to get for you, and they have fallen over flat on their ass. But life, as they say, goes on. I've learned a lot this week, and I have been thankful for the help that I've been getting from Billboard Battalion and Wade, Nick, and Belinda. they're wonderful folks, and you're not going to find harder working people. I know at times, I've had a bit of feedback this week. I know at times people don't like being spoken to directly. And sometimes when one of us raises our voices, it can become intimidating or threatening or whatever. I know, having spoken to a lot of you, you like when I get angry because it's just, oh, look, there's Carl going off again. But I get angry in a way that I hope I say the things you would be saying in an angry fashion you maybe wish you could say, or you certainly could say and probably would say even in a more angry way if you could. But anyway, we're trying to meet the middle ground on the average, put it that way. Wade can say some things at times that people tell me they find a bit confronting. Well, I'm afraid I stand with Wade, particularly on the subject matter that he has been on about now for the last few weeks, months. And I feel strongly about it too, because they're trying to kill us. There is no other way to look at this. I had a conversation about this with somebody today who was saying, oh, yeah, but they are trying to kill us. If you look at what they say, oh, no, they say they're doing this, they say they're doing that. Well, what they say is one thing. Now look at their actions. Those actions, from spraying God knows what into the skies, which, I wouldn't be at all surprised was killing the ground, but it's also getting into our food chains, getting into our water chain. It's getting into us. And do you think anything good's coming out of it? Probably not. And we may not be going to go and die tomorrow because of the spraying they're doing today. But some of us will die tomorrow because of the spraying they've done for the last 50 years over us. Because it's what they've sprayed over us at various different times over that time period that has induced all sorts of health issues in the world today. All sorts of them, particularly respiratory issues, asthma and the like. They've used us, our parents and our grandparents, as guinea pigs. And they don't care how many of us die, because the ultimate goal is, as we all know, to thin the population down to a manageable level of elites and slaves. Well, the slaves won't be managing the elites. The elites will number 3 and a bit thousand. The slaves will be a lot more than that. Every elite will get a good slave, or 20. Are you willing to be the slave? I hope not. I'm not willing to be the slave. But after this week in Canberra, it's become really apparent to me that the only way this is going to change, folks, is if we change it. It might be nice to say we need the military. It might be nice to say the police will come and help us, but the people need to fight for this. The people need to stand up, be seen to be taking control where control has been taken from us. And if that is in the police and the military, then I hope the people's actions would be enough to sway them to become part of that. But where else do we go? I'm not calling for you to go out and pick up your pitchfork, far from it. I'm simply saying solutions need to be sought. And if you have one, I'm really, really interested in hearing it. You can email me at carl@vofhq.com. And if it's a good one, then we will talk about it here. We'll help bring it all together. We're being controlled and having different levels of control put upon us every day. This action that Wade and I have been in Canberra for this week, is one of the most significant iron bars of control the Australian government has been allowed to be placed on the Australian people in history. Why are so few people here in Canberra with us this week? And is that indicative of the entire movement? I know we're all busy. I know fuel prices are high. I know it's coming up to Christmas. I know there's a million reasons not to be here. But there's one really good one to be here. And that is, they're trying to kill us. That has to stop. We have to let them know we know their ultimate plan, and the lies, the mealy-mouthed words that come from all of them cannot be trusted, will not be trusted. And until those people start acting in the interests of the vast majority of Australians, which they won't, we need to withdraw our services, our everything. I think that's the first step. I think we bring this nation to a standstill. I think that's the second step. And I think there are very good and very easy ways to make that happen. But it requires the support of everybody, or the vast majority. So if there were an action plan to, I don't know, block a highway or otherwise disrupt traffic, would you be part of that? Would you get off your bum and go and do it? And would you stay at it for a day, a couple of days, a week, or until we were satisfied that the country is being put back on track in a manner that people approve of? Think about it, because I really do think the time is rapidly approaching where those sorts of questions are going to have to be asked of all of us. And I guess right now we should start asking about them for ourselves. It's an interesting place, Canberra. But I think John Wilson probably sums it up best.
And what a clustered fuck this is.
Be safe on the roads, folks. I'm going to head out and have dinner with Wade. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. I'm expecting to be from the Donket Sanctuary. Can see that probably not changing, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with Sandy and Baz and the team at the Donket Sanctuary. So be safe on the roads. I will be one of the dickheads out there, but I'll only be doing the speed limit, puttering along, listening to my music, and hoping that somebody has taken out our 2 prizes in our lottery so that I can announce your winnership tomorrow night. Wouldn't that be good? So go and grab a ticket at merch.vofhq.com. Tickets are only $2.50 in the Sanctuary $7.50 link at the top there. $2, and you can buy up to 20 of them if you so desire. We had less than 100 up for grabs at the start of the show. I'm not sure how many there'll be there now, but if you can help us out, God love you, and God love the donkeys. Looking forward to seeing them. Be safe. See you tomorrow. Bye.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!